Okay, we're back. Let's continue on. So, and shall honor him, not doing thine own ways. So what does thine own ways mean? Okay, we already talked about how thine own pleasure is taking delight in your work. So doing thine own ways, the word ways is direct, which means path or way, and it relates to one's own pleasure outside of work. Kind of just doing what you want. Instead of having to go to work, you kick back and you watch some TV, or you go fishing, or you do a hobby or something that you like or enjoy. And doing thine own ways on the Sabbath is equivalent to walking down a marked out nature trail. And then you see like a little path, a little bunny trail, and you deviate off that, and you go down it, and you kind of get lost and get disoriented, and you have to you have to turn back around and go back the way you came to get back onto the path, the marked trail to where you should be. And that's like the Sabbath. If you do your own thing on the Sabbath, and not delighting in the Sabbath, not worshiping or honoring God in the Sabbath, it's like you've deviated and kind of lost your way and got off the trail, and you're just doing superfluous, trivial kind of things. And to repent means to turn and go back the way you came to the original source, back to where you started, so you can go back on the marked out trail of Sabbath and continue on with it. So thine own pleasure means to work. Doing thine own ways means to do something that you want to do, like a hobby or whatever. So, kind of like going shopping on Sabbath, or going to the amusement park on Sabbath, or going to a restaurant on Sabbath, which in all ways you're exchanging money, causing other people to work, and you're breaking so many different things regarding the Sabbath. Nor find thine own pleasure. Now, we've already discussed how pleasure in this context and in these verses means work, and thine own way means, kind of doing what you want. So what does it mean, nor find thine own pleasure? This is kind of like a workaholic taking a vacation, sitting on the beach on Sabbath, and texting and emailing his clients and his coworkers on the Sabbath, doing work on the Sabbath while he's on vacation on the beach. So he's working, he's taking pleasure in his own ways. So he's working, but he's also going his own way, which means he's on vacation. He's doing both at the same time. And that's kind of what that means. Nor speak thine own words. This hints about twisting the words of Torah to excuse or justify your reasonings for breaking the Torah. Okay? So it's kind of like, it's a declaration, and even implies a threat, sort of like saying, I don't care what God says, I don't care what the Torah says, I'm going to do what I want on the Sabbath. So now we're on to verse 14. And it starts out, Then thou shalt delight thyself in the Lord. So Isaiah is saying, if you understand verse 13, and you proactively apply it and put it into practice, you will experience greater benefits and blessings than you could ever reap while working or playing. And I will cause thee to ride upon the high places of the earth. Man, if you look at the Hebrew, it's so full and rich. Let me just say that this is what this means. It means that you will have authority over the spiritual paganism and temptations that surround you in the land, in the place which you live. You will be able to overcome these things. And that's what it means. Wow, making us free. Awesome. And I will cause thee to ride upon the high places of the earth, and feed thee with the heritage of Jacob thy father. And feed thee with the heritage of Jacob thy father means that the blessings and the promises he gave to Jacob, if you obey the covenant he made with Israel, and in turn, retrospectively, confirming all the other covenants prior to that, the Abrahamic covenant, the covenant with Isaac, now the covenant with Jacob/Israel, that if you obey the Torah, if you rest on the Sabbath, and you delight in the Lord on the Sabbath, then the blessings that are promised will overtake you, and I mean it'll just bowl you over with blessing, and it's awesome, that you'll reap all the benefits you were meant to reap if you obey the Torah and rest on the Sabbath. For the mouth of the Lord hath spoken it, which basically means, you know what? God said it. It's as good as done. God is good for his word. He can't lie. He always tells the truth, and he always says what he means and means what he says. He always follows through with his words and his promises. He says, look, I said it, I mean it, it's good as done. It's phrased in the Hebrew as a kingly command or decree. So hopefully kind of really milking this verse for all it's worth, hopefully you better understand what Isaiah 58:13 and 14 is really saying. So I hope you've been edified and educated and blessed by this short exegesis on this passage, and that you've enjoyed it. Pass it on to your friends, and thanks so much for watching. Shalom and Shavua Tov. Bye-bye.